Admit the audience wants to see you in the videos, along with T-Rex and Steve. Well, Mitt just doesn't have that same spunk for getting down the stairs that Steve and T-Rex and TK do. Is everybody ready? T-Rex, you jump up and down if you really want to go out. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Steve? It's your turn. Good cat. Good dog. 62 degrees at 9:03 a.m. on Saturday, October 5th. There's a new moon. It's called the Hunter's Moon. It's going to be full on the 17th, so we have an evening moon. Will we be able to see it this evening? Yes, we will. Despite what you see up in the sky right now, there is incoming blue sky. That air is coming almost from due north. We are facing due north, and we have some precipitation on the radar. Let's look to the east before I show the radar. And there's the leading edge of a little bit of rain coming down. Looks like it's raining there a little bit near the beach in Hull, Nantasket Beach. This is probably about as windy as it's going to be all weekend, as there's a front right over us. A front is a boundary between two different kinds of air. But it's really losing its definition as it comes in. But that's a beautiful shot of rain coming out of the sky over Boston, and I have a couple of raindrops right here. And the reason it's slanted like that is because those clouds are moving along a lot faster than the air at the ground. So they fall, and the wind up there may be about 30, 40 miles an hour, and the cloud is outrunning the precipitation, which is reaching the ground now right over Alston, and Fenway Park is raining a little bit. And here comes a trace of rain for me and my garden. And that's it for the weekend. It's going to be a really nice weekend. It already is a nice weekend. I think I want to start with a really wide shot radar. This morning, precipitation in the Gulf of Mexico, mostly over the water. We're going to have to watch that area near the border of Mexico and Texas for a new hurricane developing this week. Then you have some more precipitation north of the mountains of Montana into North Dakota. That's mostly in Canada. And then in Maine, the heaviest rain in the continental U.S., lower 48, is in New England this morning, in Maine. And this is this front that's coming through. It's a very weak front, even though it seems so gusty and impressive right now. For southern New England, there's just not much of a gradient. Time out for some yacht watching. Good to see you yesterday, Leif. Nice looking yacht there. Doesn't matter what the weather is. And there is where we spent our sunset on Lynx. And those flags are about as high as they're going to go for today and the weekend. Things are going to really relax. I think I want to show the image from J Peak Resort this morning. Blue sky, beautiful. No smoke in the sky today, it looks like. And one cumulus cloud, instability cumulus cloud, and the leaves on the upper mountain are now on the ground. So it is peak foliage down low, and across much of northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and Maine, it is peak foliage this morning. And it did rain in Vermont last night, and so it's probably a real fine, feel to your olfactory nerve. Your nose probably really enjoys the precipitation, and on the leaves, it evaporates, and that fall smell you get in the air. It rained about a quarter to a half inch in the northern Green Mountains and off into Maine. In parts of northern Maine, we've had an inch of rain, and it's still coming. So I don't have the rainfall totals, and then in northern Maine yet, but enough to make puddles. And then once you got to the Massachusetts border with New Hampshire and Vermont, very little rain. But I am getting wet right now. What's going on? I didn't even think we were going to get a trace of rain, but we may end up with 1/100th of an inch of rain. There's blue sky right there, and it's raining, and they're the size of the raindrops. They're not that big. But it's a spectacle, and there's so much action on the weather map. I spend hours each morning trying to memorize what's going on the weather maps. Where are my spiders? He's deep in there. Can you see him? Deep in there. It's October. It's a spooky month. There are a lot of spiders around. There's another one in here somewhere, way down in there. All right, let's do some weather, Tim. These showers are going to move right along and out, and that blue sky is incoming. Here's the satellite image to go along with what we already showed with the radar and the image at JP. You can see the cloud is thick over Maine, where there's about a 10-19 weak low pressure system It's the strength of the highs that are on either side that are more impressive. The high pressure coming in from Ontario, where this morning, there's the clear sky coming into western New England. This morning in Ontario, there's a new 1027 high pressure system. And if you look at the temperature map there in Ontario, you can see north of Lake Huron, it was in the 20s this morning. So some spots in New England tonight, when that high comes in here, beautiful evening sky, clear with radiational cooling. A few spots in New England tomorrow morning may be near freezing. I'm talking about northern New England. Southern New England will be in the 40s and 50s. And that high is right over us tomorrow morning. So that sets up a beautiful Sunday for us. Temperatures are mostly in the 60s this weekend, so quite average for this time of year. The Pacific and the Atlantic are all loaded with storms. Steve is staring at something. What's up in there, Steve? So if we look at the huge picture in the satellite from Zoom Earth, you can see the storms in the Atlantic Ocean. Hurricane Kirk is only slowly weakening from a Category 4 to a Category 3. North of that, there are several storms that are not named, but those are waves on the front that stretches from North America to Europe. And then across North America, another strong storm coming across. We saw that come in off the Pacific Ocean yesterday. Now it's coming across southern Canada. And there are more lined up across the Pacific. And our block is weakening a little bit, but we still have that stalled system in Hudson Bay, Canada. It's still sitting there. It's been there for 3 days, and this next one that's coming across southern Canada is also going to stall and kind of sit there. Here's the Boston 5-day. Temperatures today with the sun increasing in the 60s to near 70. It looks like the wind is going to go light and variable, believe it or not. This afternoon we may end up with a sea breeze. And then tonight, radiational cooling should be nice. In the city areas, it'll be near 60, but other outlying areas will be closer to 40. That's what happens on a night with radiational cooling, and the urban heat island effect keeps some of you warmer. And then next couple of days, not too bad. Monday looks like the next batch of rain. That front's going to come in here to slow down, stall over us. It's going to be a more impressive front. I'm looking over there, past Lynx to the right. The sun is out there. Now the sun angle in the sky is a little too high to think, I think, for a rainbow. But if there is a rainbow in the morning, it's in the west, not the east. Look at that huge crane right there. And I'm not sure what building that is. That's Quincy over there on the road to Boston. And there's Boston, monitoring that rain shower coming through here right now. It's really fun going out the door, watching the weather and more. And the forecast is pretty challenging. Alarming for the Gulf of Mexico and the people in Florida, where there is going to be Hurricane Michael forming. So out in the Atlantic, we're watching Kirk and Leslie are both hurricanes, and Michael is going to be a hurricane within about 48 hours, if not sooner. So we may have the K, L, and M storm all at the same time. Let's go to I want to show you the ocean first. I say first all the time, but Kirk is generating 42-foot seas out there right now. This is from the OPC, Ocean Prediction Center. And to the upper left of Kirk is post-tropical cyclone Helene, the remnant of it, generating 14-foot seas. And those waves are coming in our direction. The surf at our buoys this morning is about 3 or 4 feet at 8 seconds. And that forecast for that period that I talked about yesterday, that long period swell, that forecast yesterday was for a 17-second period, and you could tell by my enthusiasm from my voice that was kind of a rare event. Well, the Ocean Prediction Center now has diminished that to about a 13 or 14-second period, which is still a formidable swell and more reasonable, really, too, for a storm so far away. But the farther the storm away it is, more powerful it is. That's the greater swell and greater wavelength. The wavelength is the period between the trough and the trough, or the peak and the peak. And it's expected to be a 1 to 2 meter. See, when they do their surface analysis, they give it in feet, but when they do their forecasts, they put it in meters, which makes it more confusing. Everything's confusing. It's about a head-high swell. I still expect it here late tomorrow into Monday and perhaps Tuesday. So what's the weather going to do? All right, here we go. We're going to go to the pivotalweather.com. ECMWF, it's also known as the Euro model because it's the most consistent and the one we trust the most. The GFS is kind of wonky, as is the NAM, but they all have their strengths. But anyhow, we use the Euro, and here is the high pressure going right over us tonight, and then tomorrow we get on the back side of the high. Pretty impressive
front, actually it's frontogenesis. It's getting stronger as it comes across the Midwest, as that low that's come off the Pacific into Canada is going to slow down and weaken, and it's going to transfer its energy to a new storm that's going to form over the Gulf of Maine. So if we stop it on Monday morning, there's a low pressure on Monday. I think this is actually later in the day. There's a 1,006 millibar low over Cape Cod. So that's cyclogenesis, but you know, there's not that much precipitation, not that much wind with it. So it actually turns quite nice in southern New England, at least on Monday. On the backside of that, we're going to have high pressure building, and it's going to be turning into a cool high with a stalled upper level low, and there'll be showers of instability, showers of mixed rain and snow in our mountains after that thing stops and goes north, which we're going to put in motion. But before we get there, I want to show you the low in the Gulf of Mexico. There are actually a couple of them. One low is going across Florida, so there's going to be a heavy rain and some wind going across Florida before Michael even gets its act together. And now let's go back into motion, and we can see the low that's in New England is kind of slowing and lifting north and slowly deepening, not quite as strong as it was yesterday, down to about 1,000 millibars. And we're going to stop this again on Wednesday, and now Michael, by the forecast from the Euro, is expected to be around 983 millibars or so. And remember, we saw that with Helene, where initially the guidance had us in the 980s. It ended up verifying at 939. So all bets are off at the strength of Michael coming into Florida on Wednesday. At the same time, we have an upper level low with pretty nice weather in southern New England. Instability showers with maybe a frosting of snow at the tops of some of the mountains. It will be cold enough for some of the snow guns to be tested in northern New England on Wednesday into Thursday. All right, time out from those maps because I can feel the sun just came out right here. And it is raining. So do we have a rainbow? No. But it really, that's that sun we saw in Quincy a few minutes ago. So it's now sunny on the links. Calling the play-by-play here between 9 and 9:30 in the morning. There is Germantown. We took a 3-hour tour on the boat yesterday, and you're going to see all these buildings close up. Well, as many of them as I can show, and more in a few minutes. And just quite the spectacle of this one rain shower going right over Boston right now. I think this is wonderful. And look at that. The sun is shining right there at Howe's Neck on the beaches right there. We cut right between Howe's Neck and Raccoon Island yesterday, which you can't do unless it's high tide, and that turns into mud at low tide. So the sun's out. Yay. But we're not done raining, and we're not done with the forecast. All right, let's go back to the maps in motion. On Wednesday, the hurricane goes across Florida, and it's going to go out, and it's going to race well south of New England. We have an upper level low with instability, showers diminishing, and Friday looks like a pretty nice day. Wind will be diminishing. And then if we see a new front coming in, it's not a very strong low, but across the Midwest. And if we stop it now on next Sunday afternoon, there's a high pressure system to our north, 1023, and there's a high pressure system to our south, 1024, and wind is air moving from each of those highs from the north in northern New England and from the south in southern New England. So there's a very subtle front over us next Sunday. The weekend is looking okay, but that record warmth from the southwest is going to be cut off and not come into New England. There's a 10-12 millibar low there near Lake Superior. And watch what happens to that 10-12 millibar low. It zips along the front and deepens rapidly. Now, this is an 8, 9, 10-day forecast, so it's only almost as good as the flip of a coin. We've seen how bad these can be, but this is the potential, what's on the table for Columbus Day Monday. Look at that low deepening with a strong front and very cold air. Snow on the north side of that low. 994 low going across into northern Maine. And that's now Monday. Is that October 14th? I think it is. And you've got a real cold air mass coming out of Ontario. Well, it looks almost cold enough for lake effect snow. I remember saying that about 3 weeks ago for a low that was coming across the Great Lakes, and that did not happen. But that's the early look at Columbus Day, is that the heat does not make it into New England, and quite the contrary. We actually end up with more of a northerly wind and very cold air coming in here. So surf season is going to overlap with ski season here at some point. We're not skiing yet, but some of the mountains will be turning white in the next 10 days. And the foliage is brilliant, and today is turning really nice. I wanted to show you one more map. I think because of my friends that love to see the ocean maps, I'm going to show you the Tuesday map of the storms, because I've been showing it quite some time with the wind from the northeast, from Norway to almost New England. That low right in the middle there in the 950s, that is Hurricane Kirk, and then to its left, that's post-tropical storm Helene trying to refire in the mid 980s, and that low that's over New England is going to interrupt that northeast wind, so we're going to have an offshore flow developing here in southern New England for really nice surf and hopefully pretty weather in the middle of the week, and I'm talking the week coming up in about 6 days. All right, so I made switching off the weather, going to the Enmore now. I made 98 videos yesterday of the Enmore. We toured from Hingham through the tight to the shore because it was high tide, going right in front of the house here yesterday, and then we went right up to the schooner links, and then we went all the way up there into Rock Cove. I can't remember the name of it, but we ended up way in there where you could never go at low tide, and that boat right there on the right there, we're going to get close up to that one, and then we went all the way across and then ended up in Hull and came back and ended up on the deck of Lynx to watch the sunset, which just kept getting better and better. What a day yesterday. It's a lengthy and more, and I've got some work to do this morning, so even though I'm shooting this between 9 and 9:30, the edited version is probably not coming out until, going uphill backwards in my bare feet. Whoa. We're probably not going to end up with the edited production until mid-afternoon on our Saturday. And so thanks for watching, everybody that's joining from around the world. It looks like we've got new viewers, and this is your and more from yesterday, October 3rd. I think that's what yesterday was, Friday. TK Chicks calendar. Today is Saturday, October 5th. So the Enmore is from yesterday, Friday, October 4th. All right, have some Steve. All right, here we go for the Enmore. It's OPYC day at SSYC, where I see some pretty foliage, pretty sky, and just gorgeous late October weather. Allow me to rephrase, late summer-like weather here in early October at the SSYC. High tide, new moon tide. Kind of hot in the sun. I think I might be overdressed. Boaters on other people's boats. Other people's yacht club. That's me, TK. Thanks for having me. Going down, what's that called? Nick. And there's that house with the skeletons coming out of the ground. That's their tree. I thought there was a new cut through or something we were going to cut through.
You gotta wait for the floods.
Down here, tied rope to him. He was already dressed in on the bottom. And I had to goose my boat pretty good to get him off. So we got him turned and got him straight and pulled him straight out.
OPYC. All aboard. We're missing a Kent. Has anyone seen another Kent? Jeff is very busy manufacturing carbon buildings.
Saw a big article about that. Pretty interesting.
Danny, where are you? Captain and ferry today? Courier big and courier small. On the other side of the peninsula, Lynn and Marty's new place. Not too shabby. pursuit of cormorant. Miracle they can even get out of the water, isn't it? Not actually chasing you, we're just both going in the same direction. That's Greg Daniels' house, DJ. Handsome.
Well, that's the
And there are the original three. Well, one of them's still original anyway. Roger, Don. Grandma's is still original too. And that's a little sample right there of the natural slope, how the town wants to have it, the native plants. And here we have the old Weatherman Beach. Tell us a story about what happened there when you were 12 years old, 15 years old.
Plenty happened. Not so long ago, too.
What happens down the beach stays down the beach.
When they're still building there, yeah.
I like that chair over there all set up. Cricket chair. One spot on the shelf where the sumac is not blocking the view anymore. Right there. How'd that happen?
take it all down.
Certainly should. It's called the shelf right there.
Now we're coming up to the pirate ship.
Yes.
How are the accommodations?
Cozy.
That must have been fun.
And that brings us to WYC, West Augusta Yacht Club. A lot of friends over here.
Tell us the story of the sailboat.
That's a
Is
tall
that for
ship
Halloween?
Lynx replica built and launched in 2001 by Rockport Marine. A man named Woodson, Woody Woodson, I believe his name. And it just went back to Rockport Marine for a spa treatment. Got new paint. There's Troy giving a talk. Troy is the historian for the ship.
Your pirate hat on, too.
And I would say maybe that's Pia on board.
What is the reason they put the mast up at an angle like that?
Rock Island Cove, looking over towards Howe's Neck. This is mud at low tide, so
Clam jigging.
he must have built himself a channel or a hole right there.
No, with the line keeping you off the dock.
I thought the egret had all left, but I see you in there.
Go
You
to
gonna
the
hide
bait.
there for the winter?
Follow the bait.
I haven't seen one in about 3 weeks. I thought they were all gone. Another once-in-a-lifetime experience. Kind of cutting between Germantown over there and Howe's Neck over here. Rock Island Cove. Neat. Can only do this at high tide. And when there's a new or full moon, it's even better. 3-hour tour. I hope the weather doesn't start getting rough. We are going inland. There's another heron way over there. All right, so there are still some heron in here. That was a great blue. Ducks. And the Osprey platform. Osprey have definitely flown south. Turning on a dime. So the heron are still here. too anyway. Pretty sure they head south. That's the direction he happens to be going in right this second. Apparently this was the flounder fleet capital of the East at one point.
Flounder fishing.
The old people were younger people. So Doug just said they came from all over the place to go out of here. Quincy. So far today. Pretty elaborate dockage and ramp system here. Looks like you can accommodate quite a few guests.
Classic brick buildings, they last forever.
Those 4 Adirondack chairs, all inviting. And the church. You can get married out here.
Carries up. Truck up and sit there.
Peacock Island. The whole gut. Water rips through here. And Hull. And there's the high school. Ooh, fixer-upper. Is that old Coast Guard building or something?
That's where they fixed the whale boats. Rescue boats.
Whale boats.
Now the life-saving boat museum.
It's the Light-Saving Boat Museum.
The museum itself is down around the corner by the cemetery. This is where they keep the vintage life-saving boats.
Right here on the water. I would never get anything done. I would be just staring at the water in the sky.
We were telling a lunch, we'd end up at the ship.
And of course, famous Joe's Nautical Bar. Must-see attraction, Eastern Massachusetts. Go there on Sunday and watch the Patriots hosting the Dolphins. Hey, Steve. Hey, Judy. Edward. Watch the people in the swimming pool with windows. Fancy that. Pretty sumac, if there's such a thing. Looks like some fancy woodwork right there.
There's a concrete fort up there with 3 round depressions where they had hidden guns that were hydraulic. They'd lift them up to shoot them, and then the recoil would be absorbed by the hydraulics and they would drop down.
Fort Revere, what were they going to defend us from? What war?
That was World War II.
World War II?
Yeah. No, this was a radar center.
The radar
The whole
set.
top of the island was all radar. The inside, underneath, there was nothing. They didn't even use the underneath. They let us wander around there freely.
Lobster Fleet. Yeah, we saw that boat go by the other day. The winch with the skiff. Right into home. Right in tight. The yacht club. Saltwater Sportsman's Club. And we surf right over there on the other side. Great surf break. Smelly. Nice little corner there, huh? Wow, that's a serious breakwater. Looks like it can accommodate guests too. Mind the cormorant. Kind of pungent on the olfactory nerve. They're funny, aren't they? Like clowns, kind of. Mid-latitude penguins. Jump. Jump. Doug was hoping that I was going to fall off into the water with the cormorants. You bastard. And it scared me more than it scared you. All right, that's plenty for this 3-hour tour, I think. The sky, it's filling with clouds. We haven't had a completely sunny day in weeks since that first half of September stretch. Not complaining though. Thanks, Doug. All right, let's go see the links. Next stop, links. Wow, the view has really improved right here. I wonder how that happened. Now let's go light off some cannons. And keeping with naval tradition, as the sun goes down, the flags come down and the carronade goes off. But you got to get the carronade in place, which is happening right now. Captain Peacock and Troy. This is the carronade.
Gun is run out. Gun's run out.
And it doesn't look like we're going to hit anybody. There's nobody there. And there's a T-Rex right up there, keeping an eye on us right up there. And the sun is winking at us just before we give the carronade sunset salute.
To indulge. What I didn't bring was glasses.
That's right. You know where they are.
Yeah.
Leif, what's the name of your boat?
The name of my boat is Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
And it is the name of the Norse mythological tree of life.
Tree of Life.
It holds all 9 Norse worlds.
And there it is right there.
Tree of life.
And it's on my time lapse every single day. And there's the sun reflecting off the homes at Fort Point as the sun goes down. And we do a sunset salute with dual carronades.
The Bruins banner coming down. Nice. The Boston Bruins. The sun never sets on the Boston Bruins.
They started ramping up.
Oh, here comes, oh good.
I love it.
Where's that? Troy, where'd you get that outfit?
Tim's got this was custom tailored for me by Tiger Lee of the South China Sea. He owns a store in Tampa called Pirate Fashions. He does a lot of pirate themed clothing, authentic 18th century style pirate themed clothing, as well as like for those who like to dress up, better Halloween costumes for like Gasparilla and but if you want a more authentic look, he does authentic 18th century style pirate themed clothing.
Lots of buttons.
Indeed, lots of buttons, and this is an old style, so it's got the square pocket and it's got the big sleeves. This is not great for sitting at the table to eat, but it's a great coat, and I like it.
So for Halloween, you just put on like a tuxedo?
Basically.
Generally, the best colors are to the west where the sun is going down, but sometimes you can actually turn all the way around and there's beautiful color also in the east. So this is one of those days.
Stand by the fire! Stand by the fire! Stand by the fire! Stand by the fire! Fire! There we go!
West, south, southeast, east. Fine dinner date, sunset.